Welcome back. In this section, we'll talk about propositional logic. We'll introduce the concept of an argument. An argument is just a sequence of statements that end with a conclusion. An argument is valid if the conclusion must follow from the truth of the preceding statements, also known as premises. Let's look at an example of an argument. In this example, we have two different premises. First one, if you have a sandwich, then you can eat it. The second premise, you have a sandwich. And then the conclusion, therefore, you can eat the sandwich. So when we take these statements, just like we've done in the past, we can convert these to propositional variables, and we can let P be have the sandwich. Let's do that in red. Let this be P. Then you can eat it will be Q. So we can represent this as P, then Q for the first statement. The second statement is P, because you have the sandwich. And then the conclusion, the three dots again being therefore, you can eat the sandwich. So now we've taken these three statements, represented them by propositional variables, and we've come to our conclusion that you can eat the sandwich. Once we took our statements and converted them into propositional variables, then we have this argument being represented. Let's say argument is represented by propositional variables, which makes this an argument form. And what makes this special is an argument form is valid in all scenarios, regardless of which propositions you substitute into it. Argument forms will be one of the major focuses for the rest of this section. When we write an argument, the implied truth here is that this statement is true and this statement is true. Notice I said and in between there. That means that each one of the successive lines, this line being line 1 and this line being line 2, are combined together with an and. So we could also write this as P and P then Q and then leading to our conclusion, then Q. This is one of the basic things that holds true across all types of forming proofs and forming argument forms, is each successive line has to be true, and they all have to be true, which means it's an and that is combining them together. Next, we'll take a look at this, and we'll put this into a truth table and see what this looks like. And we'll look and see that this is truly an argument form. Okay, so now I have the truth table set up for the P and P then Q then Q. So first thing we'll look at is P then Q. When P is true and Q is true, then this is true. True then false is false. False then true is true. False then false is true. Then we combine that with the column P with an and. So true and true is true. True and false is false. False and true is false. and false and true is false. Then we'll take this being the first part of the conditional and the Q being the second part of the conditional. So we have true, then true is true. False, then anything is true, which means the rest of these are true, which means this is a tautology, meaning this is always going to be true. Modus Ponens.
And that is our first argument form that we're going to define.
And specifically, this is the argument form for Modus Ponens.
And that is our first argument form that we're going to define.